Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome if you're new. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about the top 5 fastest killing assault rifles in the game after the Season 5 update. And this does include updated TTK values for the EM2. You guys are going to be pretty surprised, man, even after that supposed nerf to the EM2, where the EM2 lies versus the rest of the assault rifle meta in the game. So hopefully you guys do find this video enjoyable and helpful and informational. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure to subscribe if you're brand new around here. Join Turbo Nation today. And let's get on with the video. All right, everybody, welcome back. So we're going to talk briefly here about the TTK chart that I updated here for Season 5 after the EM2 was nerfed. Now, keep in mind, they did nerf it, but it wasn't in a huge way. It was more of like a slap on the wrist. And as you can see here, the EM2 is still as dominant as ever with this TTK at 240 milliseconds. Now, what they did here was that they nerfed the task force barrel. They made that fire rate not as heavy as it was before. They reduced the fire rate slightly, and I guess they were thinking that maybe this is going to make the EM2 not as viable as before, but per my testing, it still is the fastest killing assault rifle in the game. I mean, look at this 240 millisecond time to kill, versus the Fara and the AK-47, which, keep in mind, were the fastest killing assault rifles in the game for a while until the EM2 showed up. And even after this nerf with the task force barrel, it's still the fastest killing assault rifle in the game by a large margin, even after the supposed nerf. So that's why the EM2 ranks #1 for the fastest killing assault rifle. I do foresee some more changes coming up for the EM2 because they cannot keep it this unbalanced for any longer. They really need to nerf it a little bit more. Now, as for the next 2 assault rifles that are the fastest killing in the game, obviously is going to be the AK-47 and the Fara 83. Now, both of these guns are fairly balanced when you're trying to compare the two. Where the Fara 83 is balanced in a way that the movement is not as good as the AK-47. However, the advantage that the Fara does have is its range. Clearly, you can see here at 63 meters, it has a TTK of 300 milliseconds, whereas the AK-47 is at 38 meters with the same TTK. However, if you put on the VDV reinforced on the AK-47, it's going to bring that TTK of 300 milliseconds all the way up to that 70 meter range, which makes it viable and competitive versus the Fara 83. And we're going to get into the class setups in a little bit, but I just wanted to show you guys the cold hard facts and the stats of what are the fastest killing assault rifles in the game currently. Now, next up, we do have the Groza, as well as the C58, the FFAR1, as well as the XM4. Now, if I were to rank the next 2 fastest killing assault rifles in the game based on just TTK as well as overall user friendliness, I would definitely go with the Groza, and then I would go with the XM4. Now, I know technically speaking, on paper, the FFAR1 and the C58 do have faster TTKs, but I mean, look at this. It's 324 as well as 330 versus 332. All right. And you know what? The C58 has poor range to it, and this is not good. It's just not a good weapon. The recoil is really hard to control, and also the range absolutely sucks. I mean, this is very short range for an assault rifle, so it doesn't make it viable in many different situations. Therefore, it's not going to be meta. Now, that's why also the FFAR1, you're limited to close range gunfights with the FFAR1, especially with the recoil not being as easy to control. And the TTK is literally almost the same thing as the XM4, but the difference with the XM4 is that it has a longer range, and also it's a lot easier to control. And also keep in mind, the FOV on the XM4 is absolutely better now than what it was in previous seasons, because they made the iron sights of the gun pushed out a lot further. So that's just going to make gunfights a lot more natural, a lot easier moving forward. And the XM4 is just so much easier to control in general. So that's why the XM4, I would definitely place this above the FFAR1 as far as a meta assault rifle to use in the top 5 categories. So again, just to wrap things up, at number 5, I ranked the XM4. Number 4, we're going to go with the Groza. And then number 3, we're going with the Fara 83. Number 2 will be the AK-47. Remember, the difference between these two is that since they have identical TTKs, is that the AK-47, in my opinion, is just a much easier gun to control. It's got better mobility, and also the iron sights are a lot better than the Fara 83. And then, lo and behold, at number 1, we have the EM2. No surprise here. There is no competition. So now let's go ahead and move on to the class setups associated with my choosings here. Hey, you, I know you're enjoying the gameplay, but guess what? I gotta interrupt this because this is a very important announcement. This week, from September 9th to the 13th, my code at GFuel is officially 30% off. Just for those days only, 30% off at gfuel.com. If you guys want to get some flavor recommendations, sour blue chug rug, PewDiePie flavor, even peach cobbler, one of my absolute favorite flavors, definitely try it out. Or if you're skeptical, you don't think G Fuel is for you, just try out a sample. It's super simple, super easy. If you like it, then you like it. Then go back to the website, get some more G Fuel flavors, even try out their cans as well. well. And don't forget, before you check out, put code TURBO so you can save 30% on your entire order. And a link will be in the description down below to take you to gfuel.com. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, let's get back to the gameplay. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Gunsmith. So we're going to start off here with the XM4. We're going to start off from the bottom up. All right, so ranking at number 5, we had the XM4 here at a TTK of 332 milliseconds. Now, like I said, I chose this one over the C58 as well as the FFAR1, mainly because of its damage range, its visibility, mobility, and recoil control. Its ease of use. It's just super good all around. Very, very versatile weapon, and especially the fact that it has a very competitive TTK versus the C58 and the FFAR1. I'm 100% going to choose the XM4. So it's a no-brainer at that point. And also the iron sights that were pushed out farther, it just makes the gun a lot easier to use and allows for more versatile class setups. You no longer need to use an optic on it because the iron sights are just absolutely amazing. If you haven't tried it yet, you got to try the new updated XM4. So what I'm currently using is the infantry compensator to help out with our vertical recoil as well as minimal cons to our horizontal recoil. Barrel is going to be the Ranger barrel. This is 100% without a doubt the best barrel to use on the XM4. I do test out the barrel's bullet velocities, and this gives us the best hit detection possible and fastest hit detection as well. Now, next attachment is going to be the SFOD speed grip for that sprinting move speed as well as that horizontal recoil control, so we can get the best of both worlds here, and we can also kind of use it in a way where we're playing aggressive as well as being able to use it at a distance, so we still have that recoil control from long range. Magazine is going to be that Salvo 45 round fast mag. Now, before this update, it had 50 rounds and it had more of a penalty for that ADS time. Now, after the update with the XM4, they reduced the mag size by just 5 bullets and also greatly reduced the penalty on the ADS time. So obviously this made it a lot more enticing to use. You get to reload your weapon as fast as possible with pretty much enough ammo to go around for the next opponent. So that's what makes the Salvo 45 round fast mag the go-to move in season 5 after the update. Now, for handle, we're going to be using the airborne elastic wrap to mitigate the negatives on the magazine so we can have the fastest possible aim down sight time with this exact same attachment combos. Now, for the secondary, this is all personal preference, especially moving on in the video. You can use whatever you're comfortable with. I'm literally just using a random blueprint with a shotgun here. And here's the rest of my class setup if you want to go ahead and copy it. This is also pretty standard for me. Usually I use the Jammer C4 stim shot as well as this kind of perk combination here to help me stay alive a lot longer. Now, moving on to the Groza. So this is number 4 in the fastest time to kill for assault rifles. Now, the Groza also did receive some nice little buffs in season 5. Muzzle, we're going to be using the 𝗧𝗘𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗧 compensator to help control the vertical recoil as well as minimal cons to our horizontal recoil control. Now, for the barrel, we're going to use the VDV reinforced to have a pretty good balance between effective damage range and having some really good bullet velocity. Now, for the underbarrel, we're going to be using the bruiser grip. Now, one thing about the Groza is that you don't really need to focus too much on recoil control when it comes to the Groza. It's pretty much a laser from long range, so at this point you might as well build it to be an aggressive type of class setup. So I also do want to reiterate that this is actually best used up close, at close range and close quarter combat. That's where the Groza is going to shine, so adding the bruiser grip is going to help you accomplish that type of playstyle. Also, the Groza's iron sights were pushed out a little bit further as well, making it a lot easier, more user-friendly to use. Now, for the handle, we're going to be using the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗧 field grip. This is also what was updated with the Groza. If you guys missed that update for season 5, this is what they added. It gives you 30% aim down sight time as well as 70% flinch resistance with very minimal cons to our sprint to fire time. This is absolutely amazing. Prior to this update, the GRU elastic wrap was the best attachment to use as far as aim down sight time and sprint to fire time cons. Now that we have the 𝗧𝗠𝗥𝗡𝗦𝗢𝗧 field upgrade, it's the same exact aim down sight time with less con to our sprint to fire time. So this is definitely the move if you're trying to figure out what to use for the handle. Now, for the stock, we're using the KGB pad. This is absolutely amazing as well. You get a 50% boost to your sprint to fire time in addition to your aim walking movement speed. So this is absolutely insane. The sprint to fire time, this is definitely built for close quarter combat situations. You'll be able to fire your weapon faster coming off of a sprint, and which is why this Groza close range build is going to be a very, very fun time to use, especially after this update. All right, so next we have the Fara 83 ranking in at number 3 behind the AK-47. Like I said earlier, mainly because of the mobility and the ease of use. Don't get me wrong, the Fara 83 is still fairly easy to use, but when you're comparing it to the AK-47, AK-47, the difference is night and day. The AK-47 is just so much easier to use. All right, so moving on to the Fara 83. One also thing to note is that they also pushed out the iron sights of the Fara 83, making it so much easier to use. You don't need to use an optic on this gun now. If you haven't tried it yet, make sure to try it out after this video. Now for the muzzle, we're using suppressor. This allows for a lot more different type of playstyles to be used. Like I said, we don't need to use an optic, so this allows for more versatile class setups, such as this suppressor Fara 83 class setup. Very minimal contour, bullet velocity, and effective damage range. We still get an effective damage range of 50 meters, which is sufficient enough. Barrel is going to be the Liberator barrel, the only barrel you should be using on the Fara 83. It gives us the absolute fastest hit detection, as well as the other barrels. They're just not good enough to use. There's no reason to use them. Liberator barrel is the only barrel you should be using on the Fara 83 as per my testing with the bullet velocities. Now underbarrel, we're going to be using the foregrip. This has no cons to it, yet it does control our horizontal recoil control as much as we possibly can. Magazine is going to be the 𝗧𝗪𝗏 50 round. Handle is going to be the 𝗧𝗪𝗥𝗕𝗦𝗢𝗥. And here's the rest of my class setup. Again, same thing moving forward. It's all personal preference, and I am still using the same exact perks and equipment. And now moving on to ranking at number 2, we have the AK-47, absolutely one of the most fun guns to ever use in the game. Muzzle is going to be the suppressor. Barrel is going to be the VDV reinforced. This is an absolute must on the AK-47. Like I stated in the TTK chart, it has a very short range for an assault rifle. So if we put this on the AK-47, you get a boost up to 71 meters, which is effectively going to keep that TTK of 300 millisecond time to kill as consistent up to that 71 meter range. And this is what is going to make it super competitive. Underbarrel is going to be the 𝗧𝗪𝗥𝗔𝗡𝗦 grip. Magazine is going to be the Bluelight 50 round, and handle is going to be the 𝗧𝗪𝗥𝗔𝗡𝗦. And here's the rest of my class setup. All right, now moving on to the number 1 fastest killing assault rifle in the game. Literally no surprise here. There's only one way you should make this class setup. Muzzle is going to be the suppressor. You could use other attachments here, but it being the EM2 and having literally the best bullet spread and recoil pattern in the game right now for assault rifles, there really is no point in trying to stack attachments for control and recoil. Suppressor is the way to go here because you get minimal cons to your effective damage range and bullet velocity, and also your recoil control is not going to be affected at all. So you're going to be super stealth, undetected with this attachment. And also with the barrel, you want to use the Task Force barrel 100% hands down. If you want to have that absolute fast TTK, you need the Task Force barrel. Magazine, we're going to be using the 𝗧𝗪𝗥𝗏𝗦 40 round magazine. Absolutely no question here, because if you don't use this, then you're going to be left with only 20 rounds to work with. And obviously that's not going to be fun if you're trying to take down multiple enemies at a time. Handle is going to be the airborne elastic wrap to mitigate the negative on the magazine. And lastly, for stock, we're going to use the Raider stock to help improve our sprint to fire time as well as our aim walking movement speed. So this is absolutely the meta right now for the EM2 until Treyarch decides to go ahead and nerf it again, which I hope they do very soon, at least before season 6 rolls around, because we really need some balance here in Cold War. The state of multiplayer right now is just not fun with the EM2 meta still running rampant after that quote-unquote nerf to the EM2 Task Force barrel. But anyways, guys, hopefully you guys did enjoy this video and you guys learned something, especially with the TTK charts. I work extremely hard to get these testings done for you guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you did, and make sure to subscribe if you're brand new around here. Join Turbo Nation today and make it official, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it, baby. Yo, if you guys are always on your computer all day, or you like to game for long sessions, definitely check out GamerAdvantage.com for these blue light blocking glasses. Quite literally the best blue light glasses that you can ever find on the market. Make sure to check out GamerAdvantage.com and just learn more about it, man. There's so many benefits to keeping your eyes nice and healthy. You won't feel that strain at the end of the day, and you'll go to sleep like a baby at the end of the day, and that's the best part. You won't feel tired at all. Definitely check out GamerAdvantage.com. Use code TURBO at checkout.